We're all the way live.
Turn your volume down some. Hey, friends, welcome to a Reseller's Passion YouTube channel. I am live today with Thomas, aka Pasha Dude X. So far, we don't have anyone on our chat yet, so we're gonna wait for some people to join. Hey, talk to me again, Thomas. Let's see how your volume is.
What is it that I'm doing? I don't know how to change the volume going out.
Look on your keyboard. There looks like bells. Does yours have a bell up the top? F2, F1, F2, F3.
Yeah.
Hit push to F2. Is there a bell sign on there?
I'm going down on the volume I'm hearing, but the microphone volume, I guess, is what I need to change.
So at the bottom, hey friends, hey Daniela, hey C, hey Nicolette, Nikki, you told Nikki you were going to be on tonight.
I told you I was out there doing it.
Hello, Starla. Hello, reseller Wendy. Thank you for joining us. I am on tonight with my handsome husband. Look how handsome he is. He is Thomas, aka Posher Dude X on the Poshmark app. Follow him on Instagram. He's just getting to know things. There's Bill. Bill was on with us last week, Girly Girl Hubs. How's everyone doing? There's Christy from Philly. Hey, friends, what is going on? So welcome to Tucker Talks. Hopefully, Thomas and I will be doing this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. He's getting used to YouTube. I'm getting used to YouTube. I'm getting used to YouTube lives. And so we're on two different screens. I thought it would be like easier instead of us being bunched together. He's downstairs in his office. I'm upstairs in my office. And yeah, so we're going to start off. We have like little question and answer sheets. A lot of the questions came from the Instagram community. I'm not going to shout out any names because I had to remember myself. You know, I'm kind of getting old, and Thomas is older than me, so his memory is probably a little worse than mine. So Thomas is, for people who don't know Thomas as well as they know me, he's going to go and introduce himself and talk about whatever he wants to talk about for about 2 minutes. So take it away, darling.
Hi, my name is Thomas Tucker Jr. I am the husband of Leslie / a reseller's passion. I am also a reseller. I sell on Poshmark. I was on eBay for years, but I just recently gave eBay up. I do Macari. Let's see. I'm a flea marketer. I have a clean out business. I cut grass. I do all manner of things because we're in a time where you got to figure out other ways to earn money because it's just tough out here. So I'm a believer in multiple streams of income. I guess eventually I'll give up some of them because I'm starting to like this video thing a little bit better. But that's it. Reseller, wonderful husband, trying to be a good father. You heard that wonderful husband thing? You're supposed to nod your head up and down when I say wonderful husband. Yeah. So that's me. Oh, by the way, everyone, X. I should do X.
Bill knows what that means, right? So okay, so we each have our own paper of questions, and we'll just go one by one. And if you have any questions, most of you know me, but you don't know Thomas. So if you have any questions, we'll get to you. Put them in the comments, and we'll break them up. He'll read from his sheet and answer questions, and then we'll read from the comments and kind of go back and forth.
I don't know what my sheet is.
Oh no! Look, he done lost the sheet that I gave him. Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh, cheat!
So the first thing. Oh, you got it. Okay, so he has his sheet. As you can tell, this is not a scripted event, right? We're just going to have fun, and I just want to thank everyone so far for coming. So C says, and Leslie is always saying you are wonderful and handsome. He is told, look at that face. He's totally handsome. And you have to be wonderful to be with me. I can't be with people who aren't wonderful. My personality and a non-wonderful person would not gel right. So, Thomas, read your first question. I think the first part was just introducing.
Yeah, talk a little bit about myself. I don't like to talk about myself, but I will. How did I start reselling is the second question. Well, I guess I've always been reselling. I'm from a big family. We're from North Jersey, a little town called Plainfield, New Jersey, and I have 7 siblings, and I've always tried to find ways to make a little money on the side, whether it was selling popcorn. I was one of the original kids in the neighborhood, in the projects I was raising that was selling lemonade. I've always been a reseller, but as far as eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, I started Poshmark about 2 years ago now. eBay, I started steady in 2015. Mercari, I just started. So I'm still kind of new, I believe, in Poshmark, but I'm enjoying it and I'm getting a little bit better at it. So that's when I started from birth, you know.
From birth. And he said he has 7 siblings, but what he failed to mention, he's the oldest of the 8 combined.
Yes.
So that is such a responsibility to be the oldest sibling. I can totally relate to that. And we have like so many, even like Thomas's friends. He must have been putting out the word. So I'm gonna go through and just say hi to a couple people. There's Julian. Hey, Julian. Hey, Rose. There's C. There's Wendy, Victoria, Christy again. Jerry Taylor's here. Hey, Jerry. Calvin. Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us. Thomas, Bill, Girly Girl House wants to know, why did you give up eBay?
I don't like the fees. If you compare it to Poshmark, that free shipping, because most items that I sell, if you sell something individually, fall under that $5 range. So basically, if you're selling something under $5, you're free shipping. So you can adjust your price to do that. And you can actually lower your price a little bit because you don't have to consider shipping. But that listing fee, I found that, in a month when I was really making a good amount of money, that my fees added up to about 30 to 40% of what I was selling. And that just didn't sit right with me, even though I was doing a lot of selling and making good money. But that's pretty much what it is. It's the fees. Yeah. They'll kill you with fees. And also, like I said, a lot of people make good money on eBay, but it just didn't work for me. It messed with my mind, just messed with my mind.
So. And when did I always get the dates wrong. When did you originally start selling on eBay?
Originally?
Yeah.
Oh, when you were a real small child at the time. Originally, I started back when they first started. I don't even remember the year. It was in the mid 80s or something like that. But I've been off and on. But for this go round, I started back in 2015. So,
yeah.
But I was doing it way back when CDs were popular. I was selling CDs. I was selling car parts. I would buy, like, for example, I'd buy a Lincoln Town car when they were popular for limousines, and a lot of limousine companies wanted parts. So I just get a car, park it in my parking lot, cover it up with a tarp, and sell parts from the car. And then when it got down to just wheels and a shell, I'd have them junk it and get rid of it. So I've off and on eBay since they started. But like I said, 2015 this go around.
Yeah, for this go around. He said when I was really small, in the 80s, I was in my teens. That he's a little bit older than me, y'all. So yeah. So my question, and again, I pulled a lot of these questions from Instagram. I started asking a couple weeks ago, knowing that we would eventually work on this series. And if it's anything you want to hear from Thomas and I going forward, don't forget to send me a DM or answer in these, or put in the comments. Going forward, we're going to just talk about different things, probably not scripted. I think unscripted is a little bit better, to be natural and organic. That's how I've grown. That's my second question. I answered that too quick. So how long have you been reselling? That's the question to me. I've been reselling for 4 years. I opened up my Poshmark closet in April 2016. And I tell the story often. Thomas probably doesn't realize it, because even though he does follow me on Instagram, he's just kind of starting getting used to looking at my videos and things. But I talk about how I started reselling so that Thomas and I can have some things in common. In the beginning, I wasn't even buying my own things. Thomas was, because I was working and I didn't know anything about like buying or sourcing. So I just told him to go get me some women's clothes. Remember that, sweetie? And whatever he bought me, I would just try to sell it. And that was back then. You can kind of sell pretty much anything in 2016. You could only take 4 photos. It was before men and children's clothes were selling. It was the same year, but it was, a few months before. And so then I started. Yeah. And a couple years later, I started on eBay. But like Thomas, I didn't like eBay that much just because of fees and the extra work that it took. And that's my story. April 2016, I just celebrated 4 years, my posh anniversary.
Did you just make up a word?
I didn't make that up.
Okay.
So Rose said, Rose was, that is modern day Sanford. Who's 2G sons?
So what? Hey, that's the truth. I even have a Sanford and Son shirt. The other day I was taking a load to the landfill, and somebody said, did it. I'm like,
I tell him all the time. If you follow him on Instagram, Pasha Dude X, you can go and see his truck fill. And I call him Fred Sanford. And especially last week when he had the hair and the full face, he was looking like Fred Sanford riding around in this truck full of stuff. That's funny. What's your and then Rose, I just met her. She was just on my chat, and she started selling on eBay when it was mom and pop, 1995, 96. Yeah. And C, she's like, oh my God, you're too funny. Oh, don't go to his head, C. Okay, what's your next look at it. What's your next question, sweetie?
What kind of items do I sell? I'm to the point where I'm really just specializing in shoes, sneakers, boots. I didn't realize there was such a market for used shoes because, people think of shoes as, well, very personal, almost as personal as underwear. But there's a huge market for shoes. I started watching this guy on YouTube, Tino the Soul Advisor, like soul of a shoe. And I started watching his videos and the shoes he would sell. And so I picked up a few shoes at a local Goodwill, and I started doing what he does to the shoes, and they would sell. And there's a huge market because, there's a lot of people that listen to country music, and they go to these country music events, and they like wearing cowboy boots. So I started getting cowboy boots. Eventually, I just morphed into more and more shoes. So now basically I sell shoes, sneakers, work boots, cowboy boots, and work-related things, including jeans, shirts, hoodies. Occasionally, when I run across a cheap laptop, I'll sell a laptop. That's what I was doing on eBay, laptops. So pretty much anything when I was doing eBay. Now I'm just morphing more towards the shoes. And if you could see what's on the couch behind me, I just got a load of shoes on, of which my lovely wife absconded with a few of them. But
he shares with me.
Yeah, I would say shoes are the things I like to sell the most.
Yeah, he and I call him the cobbler because he's like polishing them and making them look good. Like sometimes I'll look at him and say, I can sell that for $80 just like that, but he won't let anything go out that's all scuffy. And he's actually changed a lot because he used to polish a lot of shoes, but now he'll pass, right? You'll pass because the work that goes into.
It depends on what it needs. If it's just a good polish and cleaning, which most of the shoes I sell, that's all they need. Sometimes I will actually get a pair of shoes resold and rehealed and sell them, but that's going to be a really top brand. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because actually in the past I wasn't doing anything to shoes, but I just did like a recent video when I went to the bins. I specifically found all these leather products. So I went into Thomas's magic bucket. He has polish and brushes and all kinds of stuff, mannequin legs. And if you don't use like those pool noodles to hold your boots and stuff up, I suggest you pay $1 and get the pool noodles. So he has all of this stuff in like 2 bins, and then right next to him, he'll probably show you. And so I wasn't polishing anything, but I said, why not give it a chance? So there's your pool noodle, and you're going to cut it to fit the side. And that's the cool thing. You can get a whole bunch of them. I saw the Dollar Tree putting out a box full of them. They have them at Five Below, and you can cut them different heights. So if you have tall boots that are flopping over, stick that noodle in there. And if you don't have any noodles on hand, you can use a water bottle. We do have leg mannequins. You can use plastic bags and things like that, but the noodles are a game changer, definitely. So I just started taking after Thomas, focusing on shoes a little bit more these days. but also taking the time to put a little love in them. Like I have some Uggs that he just gave me, and I'm going to use my Doc Martens Wonder Bomb and clean them up a little bit because I sold a couple things from just doing a little extra to them. So sometimes it doesn't hurt to put an extra work in them. So my second question is, how did I grow my Instagram? Well, coincidentally, I just released a YouTube video yesterday. How I grew my community as an introvert. I know I don't seem like I'm introverted. As an introvert, and from 0 community members or followers to 15,000. And so I grew my Instagram totally 100% organically. I didn't do follow for follow. I didn't pay for any bots or anything like that. I just basically started looking for people who were like me. I use hashtags to find people like Reseller, Poshmark, eBay, Macari, to find people, and then I would go to their their Instagram page, comment on people's Instagram feeds. If it was something that caught my attention, I would stop and comment. I wouldn't just like and talk about things that they were talking about, answer the questions that they were asking, send people private DMs and tell them how I like their feed and things like that. And then I just started creating funny memes and talking a little bit about myself. So if you do follow me, you know what I'm out there doing. I talk about I talk about when I went to get a mammogram and how important it is to get a mammogram. Go to your yearly physicals. I talk about my family. I talk about my children. So it's about being organic. And that's how I grew. And I just say, take your time, be yourself. And, my girl Daniela says she's extremely introverted. And then she says, anyone believe that? No, not for a second, Daniela.
Well, there is such a thing as what do they call it? An extroverted introvert?
An introverted extrovert. That's me. A person, an introvert could be just a person who just kind of likes to spend time with themselves. And I talked about that. Like, we're in quarantine. It really doesn't affect me because I'm good at home, and if Thomas wasn't working, he'd be good at home too. I'm pretty good. It's not a lot that I need. I don't need to go to a restaurant. He and I were just having this conversation. We need to just be in the house, taking care of us, and hey, I'm good with that. But yeah. I know when I need to get out and talk to people because I go to these, like when I'm going to Posh Party Live and different events, I know how to talk. I used to be a manager, in restaurants and a supervisor in lunch cafeterias and stuff. So I had to talk to principals and teachers and administrators. So that is different than being a person who enjoys their own company.
Well, let's get real about the going out. I'm cheap. I'm just gonna tell you the truth.
People already told us.
I'd rather have a home cooked meal. I'd rather cook myself. Yeah. And going out to a restaurant is okay, but I'm always thinking about, because I'm a little older, just a little bit older than her, and I'm thinking about my future, and every dollar kind of counts. So I'm like, I'm going to spend $15 for a burger. Get out of here. Or I can go to the food line and get a whole roasted chicken for like $5.
Yeah.
That's 3 or 4 meals. So I'm just cheap. I'm sorry. I grew up that way.
Yeah. Well, even for $15, you can go, like, instead of getting a burger and fries, you can get like real potatoes, real beef or ground turkey, your own rolls. By the time you get ketchup and all that stuff, you can get that for $15 and put together a whole meal and then get a bag of salad. And there you go. And that's kind of how like we function. And we were just talking about that if you're cooking for yourself, it's actually going to be healthier. What's going into your body, no preservatives and things like that. And as you heard Thomas say, he will cook for himself. I barely cook these days. And, he was an adult when I met him, and he already knew how to take care of himself. As he said, he's a little older than me.
But you do it so much better than I. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about what I would like to have tomorrow. I'll just give you a little hint. You do it so much better than I.
That's because I have a food service background. So I before I met Thomas, for people who are just joining us, Thomas and I have only been married for 8.5 years. So we haven't spent, because when he years ago, I wasn't legal for him to marry me. So, we didn't come together for 8.5 years. And when I tell people we have a combined family of 10 children, they didn't all live together.
And what do I always say? We had a lot of love to give.
No, so here's Jerry. He's one of Thomas's best friends. And when I was just talking about this yesterday, how Thomas has a group of childhood friends. They know they've grown up together. So Jerry knows him way better than I do in terms of that. But he is definitely cheap, Jerry. That is for sure. There is no frugal. There is cheap. And Calvin is being real nice. He says always was thrifty.
There you go, Calvin. That's why I like Calvin. Calvin, I like you better than Jerry today. It might change tomorrow, but yeah, I have a group. I have a group of lifelong, like 50-year friends. There's Calvin, Jerry, Aaron. There's Paul Jones. I'm leaving somebody out. I can't remember the other ones, but these guys are my lifelong friends.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I mean, 50 years.
Wow.
So
I'm 50. So that'll tell you guys that, yeah, I wasn't even around when they became friends. Okay. So, hi, Diana. And then Wendy, there's my friend Wendy. She said, we are super frugal. There is nothing wrong with that. So what's your next question, darling?
How do we work together? We're different. I think we have the same spirit, but our methods are a little different. Because you know that, for example, I'm not big on super nice looking shipping. I'll get it out as quickly as possible. Sometimes I wait to the last minute. You're a little bit more getting it done quicker, getting your shipping done quicker. I think you're more artistic, and I'm more of a, how would you say, is form versus function. I'm more of a functional person. That's why I sell work shoes, and you're more along the lines of an artist that you can pick out antique-y, nicey things. I'm like, you know. So how do we work together? Well, we do and we don't. You know, I'll bring her stuff that she needs or she wants as far as quality. But I've learned to pick things out a little bit better. Like the shoes that I bought another day. I actually picked certain shoes that I thought she would like, and she actually did. I can almost predict the ones that she's going to take. So providing her with the stuff, because I'm the spouse that goes out. I'm out of the house every day. Yeah. I cannot sit in the house. I don't get up in nobody's face, and I use masks like I'm supposed to. But I just cannot sit in the house all day. At a certain point in the day, I got to get out and go someplace. Even if I go ride my truck someplace, I'm just gonna go. Yeah. But I provide the things that she needs, and you know, she is opening up the world of this internet thing a little bit more for me, because this is something I talked about for years, but I never got it going. As a matter of fact, I started doing YouTube videos way back when Obama was running for election for the second term. I started doing videos, and I started actually making money, but they changed the whole paradigm on how YouTube videos work. Mm-hmm. They make it a little bit harder for you to make money. And I was making money, and then I just stopped. And she picked it up, and she's gone a lot farther with it than I have. So I'm just getting into the video space.
Yeah. And so I will piggyback on that question. Like, how do we work together? I tell people often that Thomas and I have a partnership, and so where he leaves off, that's where I step in, and vice versa. He cooks, so it's not a lot that I need to do for Thomas, because he can take care of himself. So that makes it easier, though, to do things for him, to cook every now and then. Right, sweetie? Or like, I don't wash his clothes and things like that. He does that stuff himself. We do our own stuff like that. But it's a great partnership. We still like date each other, which is really good. We like to go out. Now we don't, but we try to do things around the house. And I love the fact that he thinks about me when he goes out and he picks out shoes. Yesterday, how many pairs you come in with?
40 maybe.
Yeah, so about 40 pair. I only picked about 12 pair, if that. But it still was a great balance, great brands. And that's what we do for each other. We just kind of like help each other. And like now, like he said, he's learning from me, even though in the beginning I learned so much from him. And I think that he would definitely contribute to the community with everything that he knows. Let me go over here and say hello. There's Quimby. Quimby's the Grateful Queen. Diana, Maria, hello, friends. Thanks for joining. Quimby and Danielle are having a chat there. Thank you. Okay, so let me think. Let me see. What platforms do I sell on? I sell on Poshmark, Etsy, and Mercari. And the question is why? I no longer like eBay. Just be the same reason for Thomas, because of the fees. I gave up eBay a while ago, and I'm happy that I did it. And I tell people, eBay was the platform that allowed me to be able to come home to make a little bit of money and to come home. It's great, but I didn't like all the after stuff. I like Macari. I wasn't selling on there really active, but I've been picking it up. Macari is Poshmark and eBay had a baby. And it's like taking those two platforms and meshing them together in terms of the simplicity of listing and also the simplicity of the shipping. Like you can ship on your own, go to PayPal or Pirate Ship, right? And create your label and then just stick your tracking number in there and you're good to go without all the fees. I like to know 10% is coming off, right? And then also what I'm getting paid. And then I'm done. I don't have to worry about that extra 35 cents or whatever. I've been relisting. I take some stuff that I listed way back in July, deleted it off, relisted, and I've made a few sales. I've made more sales on Macari than I had Poshmark the last couple of weeks. So those are my platforms. I like Poshmark just more for the community. Etsy, because I'm an artsy, crafty person, I sell vintage there, but Etsy was my home for about 8 years as a crochet designer, and now I'm getting back to it. I sold some jeans and some shorts, hand painted. I have digital products on there. It's just a really place that I'm comfortable, and I like their whole setup as well.
I want to get back to the eBay thing. I don't want to put it down because eBay may work for you.
Yeah.
It worked for me for a long time. As a matter of fact, maybe 2 years ago, I was making a ton of money on eBay. But when I started looking at the fees, like I said, but also one of the things I don't like about eBay is the rating system. You know, you're above average, you're average, you're superior, you're this. And then they start messing with the amount of things you could list. And, you know, and they'll get to the point where they'll mess with your money. They'll hold your money. So, you know, these things, you know, I guess they're doing that to make you a better seller. But, you know, when you're busy, sometimes you make mistakes. And if you make mistakes 2 months in a row, all of a sudden you're below average. And it's like, oh, man, you know, and it affects your ability to sell. And that is just, you know, it just didn't sit right with me. So I said, you know, eventually it's just got to go. And like I said, so I would not discourage anyone from using eBay. Because I did it for years and it worked out well. I mean, a lot of the things we've been able to accomplish financially is because of eBay. But, you know, I thought it was time for me to move on to greener pastures, at least in my mind. And plus, there's so many different platforms. I like to have my hands in a little bit of everything, you know, because occasionally I'll go to Craigslist, you know, and people aren't. I don't believe people are using Craigslist. Sidebar. Now, speaking of cheap, I bought a couple masks, right, and I broke it. I'm sitting here fixing the mask rather than, you know, that's just ridiculous.
It's a paper mask. So Quimby, the Grateful Queen. If you're not following Quimby, please go follow her. She has a great YouTube channel, great personality. 40 pairs of shoes. Oh my God, that is a haul. Thomas he knows people. He has a shoe guy. So I tell that all the time for people who may not have been following me or are new. He has a shoe guy, and then when it gets cold, he has people coats and computers. So he's that personality when he goes out and he meets people. He says that about me, but he's more of an outside, like, you know, they gravitate to him. And plus he does the flea market. So he's building these relationships, and that opens up the door for him to make connections later and sales and things like that. So I like the fact that he has a shoe guy, because this is the other thing. Now that we're quarantined, things are opening up. I have no desire to go anywhere. Thomas says he goes out just to kind of like get air. I can stay in the house all day. I don't need to even leave. I step outside on my front, get a little air. I'm good. I'm back in the house. But this opportunity has opened up for us to do a little bit more sourcing online and get creative. And because he has the shoe guy, I don't have to really go and look for shoes. Now, I did find a couple pairs of shoes on ThreadUp that I found that are going to sell, I think, really quickly. But yeah, I found some bras. I just got a case of bras. And so I'm finding things that I wouldn't otherwise find if I was out like at the outlet or something like that. So I'm going to take my time with that and kind of stay in. Hello, Denali. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Nikki just joined us. Thank you. Nikki just started an eBay, because I know Denali sells on eBay. She's El Ducho. Follow her on Instagram and here on YouTube. The Grateful Queen, Quimby, sells on eBay, and Glow Girl Glow, Nikki just says she sells on eBay too. I just started an eBay last month, and I just received my first invoice for the month of April, and then she has a sad emoji face. Yes. Oh gosh. And so Bill says, look, he's not trying to get out. This is the kind of stuff that Thomas would like to do. So he's not trying to get out and be in the stores. He just wants to play golf and fish. I think that is perfect. You find your little spot, because if people have been fishing. Who did I see fishing? Did I see? No, I know somebody else I saw fishing. Yeah. Okay. So
why should you not be able to go fishing?
I think they're in Washington, so it's more of a lockdown. It's more contained than we are here. So I think they have more restrictions. California and I think Washington have a little bit more restriction than we do here on the East Coast. Yes,
I kind of figure as long as you're not up in nobody's face.
Yeah. So what's your next question, sweetie? Does anybody have any questions for Thomas? For those who don't know him, throw some questions his way. I do talk about him, and I did prove that he is real, right? He said, yes, he is.
I'm not really here. I'm a Japanese mannequin.
Okay, so
I'm bugging out in the camera because I don't know why, but well, I guess it's the opposite. When I move my hand one way, the camera goes the other, and it's just bugging me out. Like,
that's
anyway.
So Julian, he says, what do you guys think is the best way to
Julian Fitch? I know him. The answer to that question is you just have to be willing to talk to people. Try to get something that they may be interested in, find something in common, whether it's their kids, whether it's a sport. And the more interested you seem to be in the person's life, the more they're likely to help you out. It's really about relationship, build relationship. Because I'm the original. I know a guy. Like, I know a guy for getting cars, and she knows that. I know a guy for getting shoes. I know a guy for getting computers. I just know people because, like Leslie, I'm an introvert, an introverted extrovert. Mm-hmm. But I know, from past experiences when I was a true total introvert, that not talking can really be a detriment to your life. Yeah. Because people get uncomfortable around silence. Mm-hmm. If you're quiet, what are you thinking? What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? So-and-so? I've had all that said to me. Yeah. I'm a retired fireman, and I recall my first years on the job where I didn't really do a lot of talking because it was a new environment. I didn't really know the guys, and it took me years to warm up to talking to people because I just wasn't used to doing it. And then after a while, when people, I used to think that you were this, that, and that. I'm like, why? I never said anything negative to you. Well, it's because you didn't say anything at all, and that makes people nervous. So when you want to form relationships, you just have to learn how to talk to people and show interest in their lives, and that's the best way to do it.
And so, then you can also, if you're trying to do it online, you can really just do some research to go through Google and find resellers. My suggestion is try to find resellers that are close to you. So when we do start opening up different areas, then you can actually go in and meet them and build a relationship that way too. And so Julian is in Colorado. I have a couple friends here that are in Colorado, I'm pretty sure. Right? That's correct, right, Thomas?
Yeah.
The other, what else was I going to say? I totally forgot. Oh, so Thomas was just talking about how people say, he does get, he gets a look on his face that sometimes he looks mean, but he's not thinking about anything. So sometimes I'll go and look at him like, look.
Wait a minute, let me show you a look. I can do it without laughing.
So if you come into the room and you see this, your first thought is gosh, this guy is mean, right? And so I'm going to tell you a story real quick. For those who don't know it, Thomas and I met online. And I tell him all the time that if I had ran into him, if we met at a club or something like that, I probably would never have approached him or even let him approach me, because if you don't know him, that's going to be your first thought. That people are going to think you're angry. But he does the same thing to me. He's like, well, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. There's nothing wrong with me. So Stable Movement wants to know, hi there. Hello. Any tips for securing healthcare and health insurance as an entrepreneur?
Well, that may even be a better question for you because you're formerly. Did you work in health insurance?
I used to work for a major insurance company in Pennsylvania, and I was I paid dental insurance for 8 years, and I paid life, accidental death, and dismemberment for the rest. So I worked at a major health insurance company for 12 years before I came home to be a mama. These people, they call it whatever kind of care they want to call it. The marketplace is really the best place to look. If you do it based on your income, the only challenge is that things are changing so much, because even with the insurance that Thomas and I have, which was beautiful insurance, everything's going up. All of the co-pays and things like that are like really extreme. So I would say go to the marketplace, put your income in. If you're young and relatively healthy, then you only need the minimum. You just need something that you can have health care. So if you break your leg or something like that, and then hopefully you don't have a big copay or what's the other thing? My mind totally went blank. But so yeah, just look around. Some of the private companies, dental, if you're looking for dental, we're going to get it through AARP, thankfully, because Thomas is a little older. That's right, I'm 50, so I qualify for AARP too, so I can't be doing those old jokes anymore. So I would definitely say try the marketplace. I looked at the marketplace like the year before I even met Thomas. We happen to have health care because he's a retired firefighter, so we have that, and thankfully that's something we don't have to worry about, but it does get wonky though. Our copay went from like, $20 to like $50, emergency care from $50 to $75, hospital $100. So your maximum, you just have to look around. So the older you get, the more you need, but that's when it's more expensive.
And also all the insurance companies, they want your business. They're going to advertise. So they're going to send things to your house. When something comes to your house, like we just got this AARP thing. You can't see it on the camera for dental, and I think Leslie's checked into it. Yeah. Just when you get the flyers or the postcards, call them up and see if you can work a deal. But it's crazy. I know because I checked into it, for a friend of mine, and it was something like $600 a month. Like, and also, for example, even civil servants have to pay their own health insurance now, because I'm from New Jersey. When I retired and I caught it just in time, I didn't have to pay for my health insurance. Now, guys, 5 years later, some of the guys that stayed on and didn't retire as early as I did had to pay something like $300 or $400 a pay period, something like $800 a month for their own health care from their paychecks. So it's crazy no matter how you slice it. So, but you need insurance because one big loss, especially in this time of Corona, you ain't gonna be able to handle it out of pocket. So you got to get something. And so whatever your premium is, it'll be worth it, in the long run. Cool. What was eBay like when you started? I don't really remember originally. Like I was saying, I recall it being much more streamlined, but I think what happened is a lot of unscrupulous sellers came on and they started making it harder and harder to sell. Because I believe it was really streamlined, but that was back when it first started. I don't even remember what year it was, but that's what it was like then. So, like I said, I don't discourage anybody from that wants to do it, just not for me anymore.
Yeah. Like when he first started back then, you got to remember, we didn't have the internet. So it was actual checks and things. It was more money handling back then. And the mail was a little bit different. I do recall.
No, there was internet. It just wasn't as streamlined and fast as it was. Cause I recall doing it like in 90, maybe 97, 98
started. Yeah.
So it was just really, really picking up. Everybody was really catching on. I mean, I recall when the internet, but the first time I actually saw a computer, I think, well, that's a story for another day.
I was going to say, that's like, you're going like way back.
Way back when.
Okay, so okay, so one question is, why do you choose to diversify your income? So I can have some money, people. That's like the best answer that I can give you. I choose to diversify my income, one, because I have so many talents and I want to try to do something with all the talents that I have. So why not go out and pursue everything that I'm interested in? And believe it or not, you can take something that you're talented at and create a money stream from it. Like if you're a handmade seller, why not sell what you make from your hands. There's different, you can sell it on any platform. Etsy's the way to go, but then there's other platforms, Facebook Marketplace. You can do vending. I used to, when I first moved to Delaware, my son and I would go vending every weekend. I would, put together this huge tent and lug all these bins full of stuff and sell my crochet designs all over Delaware and into Maryland. So I diversified so that I can have money, but also it gives me the freedom of doing the things that I like and making money. So it's like pretty cool, right? Consulting now and selling on several different platforms and having a website. I say do it. You know that if you're a hustler, if I don't know where that word comes from. I'm a hustler, baby.
I'm a hustler.
So that is the best thing to do, is to diversify your income. I just talked about that on this great Zoom chat that I was on.
Well, look at what's going on right now. If you didn't have a lot of money saving, it's like it's recommended by some people that you have 3 to 6 months savings. A lot of Americans don't even have 1 month's money, to get along if something happens. So you've just gotten laid off from your job and you don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah.
How are you going to survive? You're going to sit there and woe is me. That's why I'm cutting grass, and that's why I'm doing clean outs, and that's why I'm on eBay and Poshmark. Now, I think eventually, all that is going to tire me out, because I'm in my 60s.
I'm in my 60s.
You may be better off, but see, this is what this is about. That's why we're online, because I am starting to get tired of all the other things I do, and I think my time would be better spent that if I get myself into online marketing and doing that, because the body gets tired eventually. My knee is starting to bother me, so and so. But diversification of your income, this is the perfect time to start thinking of something. Because, for example, I'm rambling right now, but I've started looking at videos on small engine repair, or doing little designs on plants and stuff like that. Learn a skill. I'm going to start next couple of days, start playing some of the instruments I used to play. Just do some things that you are, you're busy staring at the TV set. Before Corona, you were always going. Since you're home, do something. I'm so tired. I'm on my soapbox. I'm so tired of people talking about how bored they are. I want to get out. I want to do something. Well, while you're home, what are you doing? You're staring at Netflix all day. You're bored. Learn a new skill and diversify your income, because a little stream of money can make a big difference. And if you got $100 extra coming in a week because you know how to do something, it's going to make a big difference in your life.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So, Tori, she's making margarita and tacos. First, happy Cinco de Mayo and happy Taco Tuesday. Yay. I didn't even think about that. People have been talking about that all day. Now I want some tacos.
I don't know what Cinco de Mayo is.
Oh, man. It's when the Spanish, I know what it is, and it's a shame. Somebody jump in and tell me they liberated.
Oh, that's when Mexico broke up from Spain?
It was 5th of May, so Cinco de Mayo, 5 of Mayo, May. But yeah, it was a okay. So see, you need to stop causing trouble. She talking about Thomas, I'm almost 60. I get you. Stop picking on him. Whatever. C, right? Huh?
I said, you can't pick on me because, I hate to say, and I hate to sound morbid, I've outlived a lot of people from my neighborhood. So, hey, I'm 62.
Yeah, see, it's claim it. Thomas always says, in order to get that age, you have to live. So if you're 62, he's lived. He's been a firefighter, Air Force. He grew up in the projects, y'all. So he here to tell you that he, found this awesome person in me, and life is so much better now. See, there's the serious. So Thomas, what's your next question, sweetie? Anybody have any questions in the community? Hey, Tori, hello. What's going on? Oh, wait a minute. Nikki has a question. She asked, I can't find it right now, but what would you say to what advice do you have for a new reseller? What's her question?
Do some research.
Any tips? Yeah.
Yeah, do some research on what you think you might want to sell if you're talking about the realm of reselling. But set a date. I'm going to start uh, on such and such a date and start doing it, because so many people will research things to death and they won't do it, because especially if you're going into the realm of something brand new that you don't know about it. Um, you may be a little scared. Maybe you've been a worker bee for somebody else all your life, but you have to set a time period. I'm going to research this, do my due diligence, and then I'm going to start on such and such a date and start.
Yeah.
Just start. Don't research things to death. I'm guilty of that as well. I'll research something to death.
Yeah.
um, and won't start. Like this. My wife had to make me go out and buy a laptop, even though I've bought and sold probably 100 of them in the past couple of years. You know, I have no use for laptops until now, because I've got two desktop computers that are set up for two different reasons. I got a big screen right here. I've got desktops,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't want to buy a laptop because I don't know what the reason is. Cheap, like a bird in a nest. Cheap. But you know, set a time frame and a start date and start. Get it going. Don't make excuses. There are so many excuses that you can use. I got a bunch of them up here. It's too difficult, too risky. I don't have enough time. I don't deserve it. It's not my nature. I can't afford to change. I am not getting any help. Those are just some of the excuses that people use for not starting and doing things that they need to do. So start.
Yeah. See, there's Christy. She says she understands getting tired of doing flea markets, filling her little car and running to different places. She's with you. You met Christy in Philly at
Yeah.
Posh and Sip. Yep. I saw something else. Thank you, Bill. He told us Spanish independence is in September. Okay. Battle of Puebla. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
So we still don't know what Cinco de Mayo is, though.
So tell us what Cinco de Mayo is, Bill. It says, so Diana says, I researched to death. My fiance calls me analysis paralysis. So this is the funny thing, like with Thomas, one day because he saw how active I was. And sometimes you don't realize it until you see like the numbers, or you see what I'm doing, or I'm going like in a week when I say, oh, I'm going live tonight, or I'm someone's interviewing, or I'm interviewing. So you don't realize the process. And then one day, I guess he really thought about it. He said, can you write down like everything that you're doing? And they gave me some different ideas of some ebooks and things that I want to do. But it's like, I give him the information, but he'll say, it's too much. It's too much. So like he'll be on Instagram and I'll say, okay, while you're posting there, why don't you just make it a story? Oh, I can't. That's too much. And I'm like, sweetie, it literally will take you 2 seconds. You're posting on your page. All you have to do is share it to your stories. And that's where a lot of people, as they're scrolling through, they'll see your stories. So I just leave them alone and wait till he just asks me, And so I was so happy that he was happy to do this, because I think that Thomas has a lot of knowledge that the reseller community could use, and he can provide that. And we were just talking about this on a Zoom today, where sometimes people in our age range really need it, because we don't need to know how to use all the gadgets and everything, but we want to see another person who's older, who's doing it. And then we can say, you know what, I got it now. As opposed to like the young people who that's just their thing. They're on all these things. Me, if I'm not going to edit anything, I'm just going to put it out there. And so it's okay to do that. And then like Bill is saying, we just fly by the seat of our pants on Tori's channel. And that's really what it's about. Just do it and put it out there, Quimby says, just start, jump in, let yourself learn and even make mistakes. And Quimby can tell you, because she started her her YouTube channel, like how long ago, Quimby, and she said it took her a little bit of time. I think it's incredible. I mean, she's doing such a wonderful job. She pops on and the people jump on. So I say, just keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, how much time we got left? Because I got a bunch of questions left. You want me to run through these questions quicker?
Well, I knew we would take some from the people. That's just the same way I do like on the podcast. Just kind of have questions.
We're not stuck in an hour.
No, people will probably get tired of us, but we can go.
Okay. So be tired of me.
What's your next question, sweetie?
All right. What direction are you going in your business? I would like to eventually give up reselling, become a motivational speaker. Some of the same things that you've talked about, I believe I talked to you about this same stuff years before you started doing it. It's just that you started doing it. Motivational speaking. I think I'm not going to be able to give up reselling anytime soon, but I want to sell higher priced items. Um, I'm even thinking about getting into selling cars on eBay, going back to eBay and just selling, big ticket items. But eventually, I want to give it up and be, because I believe that people that make the most money right here, and it comes out of their mouth. They're like cash machines spitting money out. Like I think the guy's named Anthony Robbins, Les Brown, all these motivational speakers. They just make money running their mouth. That's all they do. That's where I would like to be.
Gary V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I keep track of my inventory? I'm very organized downstairs. Up here, not so much. So, my shoes, for example, I got them sorted by type, like black loafers, brown loafers, Nike sneakers, children's sneakers, cowboy boots, all together. So it's just by type and color. As far as the shoes are concerned, the jeans, I just have them: women's jeans, men's jeans. I'm trying to phase the jeans out because I'm trying to get out of the clothing and then just do shoes. So, another question.
Those you don't have to. That's what the people are asking questions in the comments. So that's why we can use them both. But like for your inventory, don't you have a system where you store your Poshmark separate from your other?
I used to, but I'm no longer an eBayer. So now everything is Poshmark. So.
Yeah. Because he used to lose stuff, and I could always tell when he lost stuff because he would go through the house and start throwing stuff, getting rid of stuff. So he doesn't want to do any kind of cross-listing because he can't keep track of his inventory. Now, as far as my inventory, I don't have a lot of clothes anymore. So I have a lot of shoe shelves, and then I'm selling more like hard goods like games, toys, and electronics. I have little baskets that I keep my stuff in. You can see my baskets over here. These are purses up there. I have a rack behind me with dresses. And so mine is very simplistic because I don't want to go beyond my space. I want to be able to grab anything. And I want, like, if I went away or something, anybody in my house could be able to go and identify my stuff and, ship it. Okay, I have another question here. So here are the flipping gals, Marina and Michelle. Hello. So how do we work as a team? We talked about this a little bit earlier before you ladies came on. So we work as a team, really just as a marital team. Our businesses do not connect in any way. One of the reasons is we have different ways that we do things. And Thomas said that earlier. When I first started reselling, he was selling on eBay and I wasn't attracted to that. So I was so happy to find Poshmark and still be able to do something to connect. We don't sell together. We don't ship together. Our inventory is nowhere together. So we're a partnership in marriage and we help each other. Like when we go to the bins, if he's looking for something or if I know his taste, I'll find something for him. Same thing with me. If he's there, he'll bring me some things. And like he just indicated that he picked up like 40 pairs of shoes and I took about 12 pairs of those. So we look after each other that way, but our businesses are not connected in any way. We just happen to be a husband and wife who resells.
Yeah, because like, for example, you just got a bunch of wholesale things in.
Mm-hmm.
What do I know about that? Nothing.
And it's bras. So
bras.
What do you know?
I didn't know if you want to mention, right? And not only were they bras, they were big bras, right?
Yes.
I'm like, how would I describe them? Big breasts, but no. See, because it's I'm not our personalities are similar but different, and I'm not an artistic person, so I wouldn't know a good bra from a bad bra. It's a bra.
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to kind of blend the artistic with the functional. I guess that's more like it. And so we work together, but we don't totally work together. That's a good way of saying it.
That's like any couple, like where how Tori and Bill, like Bill kind of like more laid back, where Tori is like analytical. Because like he said, she doesn't do anything about it. She doesn't just do anything on a spur. So like you're a partnership, but you're different, and that is unique, right? You're two
Yeah.
individuals, so why shouldn't your work ethic be different?
Yeah.
So
Can I
Jillian,
answer? Can I answer Julian's question real quick?
sure.
Yeah, they are similar because I find working at a flea market makes you a really good judge of character because you will deal with certain type of people. There are people that are always going to bug you for the lowest price. That happens online too. There are people that are just going to buy it because they want it, no matter what price it is. I want it, I'll buy it. They don't have time for haggling. Um, there are people that will, look at your stuff and throw it around and act crazy. Then they'll come back. So and then they'll buy it for the regular price, but they're going to try. So very similar, yeah. It's very similar. And people go online because they expect a deal. Same thing at the flea market. You're not a they're not a I forgot what I was going to say. See, that's that 62 thing coming in. They know you don't have a brick and mortar store around you, so they don't expect to pay brick and mortar money.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a deal. Everybody wants a deal online too. So you give them a deal.
Yeah. You answer this one.
Do I ever do network marketing? There are certain ways of marketing the platforms that we're on. This is for you, Calvin, my old time buddy. Built into the system, there's a way to market Poshmark, for example. That's sharing and following.
That's not what he's asking.
Well, I don't know.
He's asking about he's asking like Amway and stuff like that. That's network marketing.
Oh. No, no more. I've tried it, and I found that I would do my part, but my downline would not. Time and time again, I've tried it. I would get my certain number of people and do the presentation, and I couldn't beg, borrow, steal my downline to do it. I've done Primerica, I've done one of the vitamin companies, I've done Amway. I just can't mess with it anymore. And also, I hear negative things, and I can see it happening to me. For example, well, put it this way, I hear negative things, but my own experience has been I just can't get my team to do the work that I would do, because I'm all for it. It sounds good. I can see the potential, but my downline wouldn't, and it just tired me out. So I'm not with it anymore.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to answer a question, and then we're going to do like two more, and then we're going to be done. So the question that was asked to me, what is my favorite thing to sell? My favorite thing to sell is handmade items, because as Thomas said, I'm artsy, I'm crafty. I miss crocheting, but my hand said no. So I love the fact that I can paint on pants and shorts, and I'm creating some puzzles and things right now, because the market is saying that those are things that are selling. So I'm opening up new opportunities, and I love the fact that I can still do something that I love and make money for it. So I encourage you to do the same thing. But that handmade items is my favorite thing to sell. What about you, Thomas?
My favorite thing to sell?
Oh, he said he did. Okay, so he wasn't meaning the MLO. He wasn't meaning. He said networking with different groups. Okay.
Oh, well, my favorite thing to sell? My favorite thing is not what makes me the most money. My favorite thing to sell is audio equipment, to tell you the truth. Speakers, stereos. I've had a few losses where things have gotten broken, and that was just a learning experience for me to learn how to pack it up right. But that is actually my favorite thing to sell. I've made the most money selling, as far as an individual sale. I've made the most money selling audio equipment. But the thing that's making me the most money overall is the shoes. Like for an individual item, I don't know what you're talking about, Calvin. We'll have to talk about that later. Individual items has been stereo and audio equipment, but the shoes, I'm getting more sales, so it's more volume. So, but I prefer I prefer audio equipment, and if I can get a supply, if I can know a guy that can get some good audio equipment, I'd go back into that, and I may actually reactivate my eBay store if I could get some good, the old school stereos, great speakers, and stuff like that. But that's my favorite thing to sell.
Well, I'll answer Calvin's question. So in terms of like network groups, there are tons of groups on Facebook. I belong to a couple, and I have a couple, and Instagram is our main way of networking, and this YouTube channel. So the people that you see here are the people that are in the community that I belong to. I just, did a Zoom chat with, 26 people who are in the network that I belong to. And the network itself is the reselling community. So that is our vast community, if that answers your question. So we don't even have to go like far. I used to belong to some meetup groups, but now everything that we need is through the people we meet from Instagram. And by us, even like the platform that we sell on, one of the platforms, Poshmark, they're very community based, and we do a lot of social events when we were able to. So we've been like, to New York and different places where we've participated in so many events. So if that's to answer your question,
yeah, Calvin, she's the smart one.
Oh, this is not true at all. He had to be smart because he married me, so that can't be true. Yeah, so Posh and Sips, exactly. So Rose, exactly. That's what we're, Calvin is Thomas's friend, so he's not really familiar with the community we're talking about. So that's why he's asking questions, and we welcome that. So he said, yes, I answered that. Thank you, Calvin. So do you guys have any more questions? Because we're about to go. Do you have any answers to questions there that you wanted to answer?
7, are you going to start your own YouTube channel?
Yes, that's a really good
I actually have 5 channels that I haven't done anything with in years. Yes, I'm going to. What are the new things you've learned in the last 2 years of reselling? I've learned you've got to change with the times. You've got to adapt. You got to, all the stores are finding that out too. If you don't have an online presence of some type, and the reason why I'm involved with this is because, I see that Leslie is getting traction, and so I figure, hey, going to the flea market and just selling things online is not going to work. I've got to learn how to market, learn how to do it better. Do you think anyone can run this type of business? No, I don't. I really don't. I think it takes a certain level of patience, a certain ability to be willing to learn and change. Old dog new tricks. Thing. It's hard for us older people to change and adapt, but you got to do it. I don't think so, but because some people are just worker bees and that's all they're going to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But us entrepreneurs, we're a different breed of people. We are always trying to think outside the box, and we want to be independent, but we have to learn how to do it the right way. So I don't think everybody can do it. No, truthfully. One more question. What advice would you give to a person who's interested in reselling items? I think that I answered that question. Do your due diligence, do your research, but make the decision that I'm going to do it. And if you're not going to do it right, don't bother, because you just waste your time and waste your money,
And so I'll follow up with my answer to that question. Like, what advice would you give to someone who is interested in reselling? Again, research, reach out to the community, start kind of building. Start from the items that you have at home. Do not go out to buy anything. And also take your time, go at your pace. Don't worry about what other people are doing. And step outside of your comfort zone to do something different. Like, don't just give up. We've talked to people about, reselling and different things like that, and they've given up. It's a business. It's work. So if it's, anything worth having, you have to work for it. It's not going to just come to you. So you have to, again, like Thomas says, due diligence to, to see some growth. So friends, I just want to thank everyone for joining. Nikki, the Flipping Gals, the Grateful Queen, Girly Girl Hubs, Calvin, Jerry, so many people, Julian, all the people who jumped on specifically to see and hear Thomas. Give this video a thumbs up. Come back for the replay if you missed something in the beginning. Subscribe to my channel. Thomas and I are going to try to do something like this every Tuesday. I call it Tucker Talks because we're both Tuckers, right? And we're talking about things that are important. So next week, we don't know what we're going to talk about. It might just be off the cuff, or we might have something planned. We'll see. I can tell he's enjoying himself doing this. So that means we'll probably, at least for the month of May, go for it. So I just want to let everyone know that I appreciate you coming on. Tomorrow night, I will be on with Melissa from Vandy's Closet. And on Thursday at 8 p.m., I have a series that I'm doing every Thursday at 8 p.m. I'm going to have 5 women, including myself. It's going to be 6 of us, and we're all women from the brown community. We're all Black women who are resellers. So tune in for that. And then on Monday, I have the Posh Kings coming on. So I have a lot of content and a lot of people visiting my channel. And so thank you, friends. I appreciate you for joining us. Take care.